Hey guys, this is Sarah Elena coming at you from my car today. So if you're on here, you might be thinking about moving to Costa Rica. And if you're thinking about moving to Costa Rica, a perfect first step is planning a scouting trip. So I just finished with meeting with one of our clients who's here on her scouting trip. Luckily, whenever I do have people who come on a scouting trip and they have to pass through my area, I get to meet with them in person, which is awesome. So that makes me super happy. We just had lunch. It was delicious. We had a good chat, some good laughs. So I just kind of had me thinking about scouting trips. So I was like, why don't I hop on here and do a quick little video about just kind of step by step on how to break down, how to make a scouting trip and how we actually do it, for our clients, but how you can also just do it for yourself. So scouting trips. So number one, I guess you can call them exploratory trips or scouting trips. But the purpose of a scouting trip, in my experience that I notice, is you're either trying to figure out, like, number one, is Costa Rica a good fit for you for moving? And if so, where is an area that's going to be a good fit for you? So based on a lot of different factors, and we'll talk about what those are. Or I work with people that are like, we're moving, like we already know we're moving, or maybe they've already been down here before, but they know that they're moving and they just want to figure out, where they want to be. Maybe they want to check out some home rentals or real estate or whatever that might be. But just they're coming down to really solidify on the area that they want to be. First, I would just really take some time to think about the actual goals of your trip, the purpose of your trip, and what do you want to do on your trip. What you need to identify what's going to happen on your trip in order for you to come out having made a decision or having essentially reached your goal. So the first thing I do whenever I talk to someone is, we sit down and I have them tell me all about them, their lives, what's important. So this is something you can do on your own. So get out a pen and paper and start writing down your day-to-day routine, or kind of how you imagine your day-to-day routine is going to be with your move in Costa Rica. What's your average Tuesday going to look like? What's an average Saturday going to look like? What are your hobbies that you already like to do? What are some things that maybe you want to try that are new? What's important to you? Like, what kind of amenities do you want to be nearby? What kind of climate are you looking for? How close do you want to be to the airport? What kind of community do you want to be in? The list really goes on, and I have videos where I talk about, how to choose your area. So I won't go in too much into that, but that's pretty much what the first part of a call would be. So would really be the first thing that you should do for yourself, is evaluating all these aspects, your life, and how is Costa Rica going to fit into that for you? And what area of Costa Rica is going to be a good fit? This is the area where I think people get stuck. They're going, okay, well, I know what I want. I just don't know where that is. That's where we come in. So if you're not sure where that is, that's where we come in. And then on that call, I'm like, okay, perfect. Based on what you told me, XYZ, I think, XYZ, these places are are very close to what you have mentioned. Or, this place almost checks all of your boxes. You might have to sacrifice one or two things. Are you willing to do that? So that's where, during the scouting trip session, I also, honestly, we pull out the map, we're on Zoom. I like to talk through why I'm not recommending some areas too, just so people feel confident that we're not leaving any stones unturned. I can say, okay, well, you told me distance to airport, for example, distance to you didn't want to be max more than 2 hours from an international airport, and that was a hard limit for you. So due to that, I'm going to X out these parts of the country, this part of the country, things like that. But if I think that an area just ticks so many of the boxes and I really feel like the person would love that area, but maybe, like I said, maybe there's that one box or one potential deal breaker, I might say, hey, just go check it out. Because if you fall in love with the place, you might say, okay, I can overlook this, or we can work around this. You never know. Maybe distance to the airport. Well, we have some regional airports around Costa Rica too, or maybe there's a way to kind of think about that. If the person says, oh, well, I might only travel twice a year, I'm like, well, then does the distance really matter that much on a day-to-day? Especially if the area is perfect. So yeah, that's one thing. So then I would say choosing your area. The next thing that we talk about with our clients is first I always have my own suggestions, but I want to fully understand from them, what do they need to see and do in each area in order to be able to make these decisions, to come out of the trip, again, reaching their goal. When they're in an area, what does that look like? Is it seeing rentals? Is it driving to the town center, getting out of the car and just walking around and seeing what things look like? Checking out maybe major shopping around, your banks, your pharmacies, a lot of your day-to-day activities that you're going to need, actually living there. So really thinking about what are things that you want to do and see, but think of it in the lens of, okay, if I'm going to live here, what is that going to look like? And of course you can have fun, you're in Costa Rica. If you want to go zip lining, or if you want to go do something fun, go do something fun. Why not? So then there's that. And then from there, then I start getting into more of the nitty gritty. So then we're looking at, okay, accommodation recommendations. So I'm going to recommend some accommodations for people based on what neighborhoods, so in the first part of a call that I would do with someone, and then you can write this out for yourself, is really think about what do you want in a long-term rental or a real estate purchase. And then I start to identify neighborhoods that I know the person will find that. And then during their trip, I like to encourage that they would stay in those areas. And then we'll usually send like 3 Airbnb locations, three Airbnb options per location that someone would go to. Because sometimes in a scouting trip, you might be going to, 3 different towns or 3 different areas of the country, which is not unheard of. And then, of course, there's car rental and, emergency health insurance and all that. And what we like to do is we create these area PDFs where people can like fully understand what the area has on paper. So like, what are your health and wellness activities? Again, where's your banks? Where are your pharmacies? Where's your fruit and vegetable market? Where is your everything? I don't know. Those PDFs have everything. We've worked really hard on them. And then we kind of customize and tailor them depending on, or sometimes people they'll want other things that just aren't on the PDF. So if that's the case, then I consider that extra research. So if we need to do extra research, we do extra research, no problem. But that's what our process is. So like if you were going to be doing this by yourself, I would say really taking the time to think about you and your lifestyle and your day-to-day, picking areas that are going to fit that for you, coming down and really viewing those areas with a lens of, if I were to live here, definitely bring your journal, write things down, take photos, make notes as to where those photos were taken, because it's, depending on how your trip is, it can be a total whirlwind at the end. You might be like, oh my God, what did we do? We did so much. That would be my advice for planning a scouting trip. If it all sounds a little daunting, that's what we do. So you can check out the link in the description of my, down below, if you want information on our scouting trip planning service. When people purchase that package, I get notified. I send out an email. We get you onboarded into our portal. You'll fill out some questionnaires, and then we'll have an 1.5-hour call. So usually, we uncover all this within an 1.5-hour call. But then we always have our pending research and tasks that we're doing on your behalf after the call. And of course, we're here to support you during your trip. Of course, I'm here to meet with you in person if I can during the trip. So, but if you're doing it on your own, good luck. I hope you love Costa Rica and that your scouting trip is an absolute success. And yeah, if you're looking for more information on your move, if this is your first video, this whole channel is just about moving to Costa Rica. So you're definitely in the right place. Make sure to subscribe. If you like this video, you can click the little like button to tell YouTube that you want more of it. And yeah, all right. Well, that's it for today. Just wanted to share all that. We do have another retreat coming up. We got the podcast. We got a lot of stuff going on. So definitely check out the description below if you want to go down the rabbit hole of moving to Costa Rica. All right. Thanks again. And I'll see you guys in the next video.